Welcome you all to this gathering. This is a multidisciplinary gathering, and we are going to have a CME. The topic of which is a glimpse into endoscopic endonasal surgery of an orbit by Dr. Vinod Felix. And first, we are going to have introduction about the topic. Here we have the faculties of different branches like ophthalmology, ENT, then neuro. And we also have our friends from the media. And to request Mr. Narayan Nahar to give some introduction about the new technology that is going to be introduced into our Global Medical College. Mr. Narayan Nahar to say a few words about this new technique, especially to our media friends. Narayan sir.
मन्तव्यको सुरुवात एउटा सानो कविताबाट गरौँ। मेरो छोरो कस्तो कस्तो, मेरो छोरो कस्तो कस्तो, यो घुसदिग्रे मोरो कस्तो कस्तो, भने जति पुर्याइदिए जहिले पनि राइट भन्छ, अलिकति तलमाथि भए बाउसँग सिङ्गल राइट भन्छ, मेरो छोरो कस्तो कस्तो। जाँगर हेर्दा चिसोमा हिउँ जस्तो, बेहोरा हेर्दा भयभरको गङ्गा र धारी दिउँ जस्तो, हे दैव अझै कस्तोको देखिन्छ, सर्वस्वै सुके पनि लक्ष्मीको पासै नहोला जस्तो, सरस्वतीसँग बिहे गरे पनि परीक्षामा पासै नहोला जस्तो, मेरो छोरो कस्तो कस्तो, मेरो छोरो कस्तो कस्तो। धन्यवाद। त आदरणीय ग्लोबल मेडिकल कलेजका डाक्टर साहबहरू, सबै फ्याकल्टीहरू र मैले मान्नुपर्ने आदरणीय यहाँ हलमा उपस्थित आदरणीय महानुभावहरू र साथै मेरो प्यारा पत्रकार व्यक्तिहरू, अब अहिले हामीले यहाँ पत्रकार साथीहरूमा कान्तिपुर दैनिकको हाम्रो विनोद भण्डारीज्यू वरिष्ठ संवाददाता उहाँ आउनुभएको छ। यसै गरी हाम्रो ब्लास्ट दैनिक, त्यसपछि जनविद्रोह र त्यसपछिबाट त्यो अनलाइन पनि होइन र यसबाट हाम्रो अनिल श्रेष्ठ आउनुभएको छ र उहाँले नागरिकमा पनि रिपोर्टिङ गर्नुहुन्छ। यसै गरी अर्को हाम्रो यहाँको लोकल पत्रिका बहुत चर्चित पत्रिका हो र यो विराटनगरको हरेक गल्ली गल्लीमा हरेक व्यक्तिहरूको घरमा यो पत्रिका खुल्छ। त्यसको साथी पनि आउनुभएको छ त्यसै गरी हाम्रो अर्को पत्रकार बन्नु आउनुभएको छ प्रेम देवान। अब उहाँ धेरैवटा अनलाइन पनि चलाउनुहुन्छ र एफएमहरूसँग पनि सम्बन्धित हुनुहुन्छ र हामीले धेरै पत्रकारहरूको 5जना पत्रकारलाई बोलाउने योजना अनुरूप साथीहरूले उपस्थित हुनुभएको छ र अब ग्लोबल मेडिकल कलेजले अस्ति यहाँले थाहा पाउनु होला, यो मुटु रोगको नयाँ प्रविधि भने चिरफार नगरिकन र प्रयास पनि नपारिकन मुटु रोगको यो तिघ्राको भागबाट एउटा तार छिराएर मुटुको भाग खोल्ने र एउटा छाता जस्तो त्यही उसमा छिराएर पुवाल पाल्ने यो प्रविधि नेपालमा सुरुवात भएको छ र अस्ति इन्डियाबाट आउनुभएको डाक्टर साहबले यहाँ जम्मा 8वटा अपरेसन सफलतापूर्वक सम्पन्न गरिसक्नु भएको छ र यही क्रममा हाम्रो नेपालले नयाँ प्रविधि भित्राइरहेको छ, यहाँ सबैलाई जानकारी छँदैछ। र अर्को प्रविधि भनेको आजको नयाँ प्रविधि भनेको प्रविधिबाट यति भएको यो टाउकाको सम्पूर्ण अपरेसन नचिरिकन नाकबाट दूरबीन छिराएर कहाँ कुन भागमा अपरेसन गर्नुपर्ने हो त्यो नचिरिकन चाहिँ अपरेसन गर्ने प्रविधि अहिले नोबल मेडिकल कलेजले भित्राएको छ। अब यसमा हुन्छ हाम्रो डाक्टर विनोद फेलिक्स, यसै गरी हाम्रो वरिष्ठ नाक कान घाँटी रोग विशेषज्ञ डाक्टर मीनाक्षी बस्नेत, यसै गरी अर्को डाक्टर हुनुहुन्छ सञ्जीव ठाकुर र यसमा इएनटी का अरू डाक्टर साहब पनि हुनुहुन्छ। हाम्रो इएनटी को चिफ पनि यहाँ उपस्थित हुनुभएको छ। मैले उहाँको नाम बिर्सेँ, राजकुमार बेराजी। यसै गरी हाम्रो इएनटी का धेरै अरू डाक्टर साहबहरू यहाँ उपस्थित हुनुहुन्छ। यसै गरी एनाटोमीको सर पनि यहाँ उपस्थित भएको मैले देखिरहेको छु। यसै गरी हाम्रो हस्पिटलको डिप्युटी सिइओ डाक्टर विश्वनाथ अधिकारी या वरिष्ठ आँखा रोग विशेषज्ञ उहाँ हुनुहुन्छ। यसै गरी आँखाको त्यहाँको प्रमुख डाक्टर साहब डाक्टर मल्लिक पनि यहाँ उपस्थित हुनुभएको छ। र यसरी अब त्यसपछिबाट यो नाक कान घाँटीमा टेस्टिङ हुनुभएको हाम्रो इन्टेन्ट डक्टरहरू पनि यहाँ उपस्थित हुनुहुन्छ। यसै गरी एमडी गर्दै गर्नुभएका फर्स्ट इयरदेखि थर्ड इयरसम्मका डाक्टर साहबहरू पनि यहाँ उपस्थित हुनुभएको छ। यसै गरी पाहुनाको रूपमा हाम्रो विरोधीको छेउ बस्ने डाक्टर साहब नाम बिर्से डाक्टर मनिष उहाँ पनि उपस्थित हुनुभएको छ। डाक्टर राजीव शाह, डाक्टर श्रीधर सापकोटा, यसरी लगायत सम्पूर्ण टिमहरू यहाँ उपस्थित हुनुभएको छ। केही डाक्टर साहबहरू अन द वेमा बाटोमा आउँदै पनि हुनुहुन्छ र यही प्रविधिको विषयमा हाम्रो आदरणीय पत्रकारजीहरूलाई जानकारी गराउने उद्देश्यले यो पहिलो सेसनमा हाम्रो पत्रकार सम्मेलन र त्यसपछिबाट डाक्टर साहबहरूले आफ्नो जुन गोष्ठी छ त्यो गोष्ठी डाक्टर साहबहरूले चलाउने योजना मुताबिक हामी यहाँ उपस्थित भएका छौँ। अब लामो कुरा नगरौँ, अब म यो प्रेस विज्ञप्ति वाचन गरेर यहाँहरूलाई सुनाउने अनुमति चाहन्छु। प्रेस विज्ञप्ति। आदरणीय पत्रकार बन्धुहरू, नोबल मेडिकल कलेज टिचिङ हस्पिटलले अस्पताल सेवा साथै शैक्षिक कार्यक्रमहरूको विकास एवं विस्तारको कार्य निरन्तर रूपमा गर्दै आइरहेको सबैले जानकारी भएकै छ। यस नोबल मेडिकल कलेज टिचिङ हस्पिटल कञ्चनबारी विराटनगरमा अत्याधुनिक उपकरणहरू र दक्ष जनशक्ति सहितको न्यूरो सेवा इन्स्टिट्युट अफ न्यूरो साइन्सेस अन्तर्गत डाक्टर आईपी चेरियन, डाक्टर विनोद फेलिक्स, डाक्टर सञ्जीव ठाकुर, डाक्टर मीनाक्षी बस्नेतद्वारा बिना चिरफार कम्प्युटराइज दूरबीन प्रविधिको माध्यमबाट जटिल प्रकारका आँखा, नाक तथा टाउकाको ट्युमर, क्यान्सर, मासु पलाएको रोगहरूको उपचार सुरु भएको जानकारी गराउँछु। आदरणीय पत्रकार बन्धुहरू, डाक्टर विनोद फेलिक्स इन्डोस्कोपी स्कल बेस सर्जरीका विख्यात विशेषज्ञ हुनुहुन्छ। उहाँले यस प्रविधिको माध्यमबाट हजारौं बिरामीको सफलतापूर्वक उपचार गरिसक्नु भएको छ। उहाँहरू सिङ्गापुर, भारत, मलेसिया, युरोपियन देशहरू लगायत विश्वको विभिन्न स्थानहरूमा हुने कार्यशाला अन्तर्क्रिया अघि बढिरहेको र नोबल मेडिकल कलेज टिचिङ हस्पिटलमा सम्भवतः नेपालमै पहिलो पटक यस प्रविधिको ऐतिहासिक सुरुवात भएको छ। नोबल मेडिकल कलेज टिचिङ हस्पिटलमा यो प्रविधिको सुरुवात पूर्वाञ्चल लगायत सम्पूर्ण नेपालकै बिरामीहरूलाई विदेश धाउनुपर्ने बाध्यताको अन्त हुन जाने सहर्ष जानकारी गराउँदछु। डाक्टर राजेश नेपाल, अस्पताल निर्देशक। धन्यवाद। अब यस विषयमा अरू थप केही जानकारी र जिज्ञासा भए हाम्रो पत्रकार साथीहरूलाई डाक्टर विनोद फेलिक्स, वरिष्ठ नाक कान घाँटी रोग विशेषज्ञ डाक्टर मीनाक्षी बस्नेत र सञ्जीव ठाकुरले तपाईँहरूको जवाब दिनुहुनेछ, तपाईँहरूको जिज्ञासाको जवाब। र हाम्रो डाक्टर फेलिक्सले अङ्ग्रेजीमा दिनुहुनेछ। त्यसै गरी हाम्रो डाक्टर मीनाक्षी बस्नेतले नेपालीमै दिनुहुनेछ। त्यसै गरी हाम्रो सञ्जीव ठाकुरले पनि नेपालीमै तपाईँहरूका सवाल जवाब चाहिँ दिनुहुनेछ। र यो सवाल जवाब कार्यक्रमपछि यो पहिलो सेसन अन्तर्गतको पत्रकार सम्मेलन समाप्त हुनेछ। धन्यवाद। अब म पत्रकार साथीहरूलाई आफ्नो जिज्ञासाहरू राखिदिनु हुनको निम्ति म सादर अनुरोध गर्दछु। विज्ञप्ति नबाडी पो सुरु गरिदिनु। गल्ती नै भयो। यो दूरबीन प्रविधिबाट पनि म यहाँ भन्छु ल, यहाँको भाषा। दूरबीन प्रविधिबाट नाकबाट दूरबीन छिराएर, अब नेपालीमा भन्दा नाकबाट दूरबीन छिराएर टाउको लगायत यो टाउकोको यो घाँटीदेखि मासतिरको कहाँ के पार्ट बिग्रिएको छ त्यसको अपरेसन गर्ने प्रविधि नेपालीमा भन्दा। अब डाक्टरी भाषामा यो लेखेको हुन्छ के भनिन्छ इन्डोस्कोपिक स्कल बेस सर्जरी, यो डाक्टरी भाषामा चाहिँ यो भन्ने रहेछ। र हाम्रो नेपाली चलन चल्तीको भाषामा त्यो नाकबाट दूरबीन छिराएर अपरेसन गर्ने प्रविधि। अब त्यसैको विषयमा के जिज्ञासा भयो बाँकी हुनको निम्ति म पत्रकार बन्धुहरूलाई सादर अनुरोध गर्दछु। धन्यवाद। नेपालै पनि डाक्टर मीनाक्षी बस्नेत अब अहिले भर्खरै हाम्रो लेभल मेडिकल एकछिन म अनि फेरि बोल्नुहुन्छ। अब हाम्रो लेभल मेडिकल कलेजको हस्पिटल डाइरेक्टर तथा वरिष्ठ मुटु रोग विशेषज्ञको टिम डाक्टर राजेश नेपा यहाँ उपस्थित हुनुभएको छ। उहाँलाई अतिथिको आसन ग्रहण गरिदिनु हुन अनुरोध गर्दछु। यसै गरी मुटु रोग विशेषज्ञ अर्को डाक्टर साहब पनि हुनुहुन्छ, उहाँको नाम मैले बिर्सेँ, डाक्टर मुनि, उहाँ पनि वरिष्ठ मुटु रोग विशेषज्ञ हुनुहुन्छ र उहाँलाई पनि अतिथि आसन ग्रहण गरिदिनु हुन अनुरोध गर्दछु। यसै गरी हाम्रो अर्को एकजना मुटु रोग विशेषज्ञ हुनुहुन्छ डाक्टर माधव विष्ट, उहाँ हुनुहुन्छ र यो टोलीले मैले अघि चर्चा गरेँ मुटुको भाव खोल्ने र मुटुको बल परेको भागलाई टाल्ने एकजना वरिष्ठ डाक्टर साहब ल्याएर सफलतापूर्वक उहाँहरूले 7-8 बिरामीको अपरेसन गरिसक्नु भएको छ र अब मुटुका बिरामीहरूले काठमाडौँको गङ्गालाल हृदय केन्द्रमा थाल्नु पर्ने अवस्थाको अन्त रहेको छ र त्यहाँ जति रकम लाग्छ त्यसको ठिक आधा दाममा लेभल मेडिकल कलेजले मुटु सम्बन्धी सम्पूर्ण उपचार सुरुवात गरिसकेको छ र अब यसपछि जस्तो अघि रेटको विषयमा अलिकति पत्रकार साथीहरूले जिज्ञासा राख्नुभयो र डाक्टर साहबहरूले फेरि जवाब दिइसक्नु भएको छ। हाम्रो रेट भनेको लेभल मेडिकल कलेजले पूर्वाञ्चलमा सबभन्दा कम शुल्क लिएर हरेक चिज गरिरहेको छ। यो यहाँहरूलाई सर्वविदित छ। यो पूर्वाञ्चलमा हामीले न्यूनतम शुल्क मात्रै लिएर चाहिँ हामीले करिब अरू टेस्टहरूदेखि लगायत अपरेसनहरू हामीले गर्ने गरेका छौँ र यसका डाक्टर साहबहरूले भने मुताबिक यो चाहिँ जहाँ जति लाग्थ्यो त्यसको आधा रकम मात्रै उहाँहरूले भन्नुभएको हो। अब यसपछि म डाक्टर सञ्जीव ठाकुरजीलाई केही कुरा बताइदिनु।
Come on.
So to start with the program and to continue the program,
I have no idea.
And this Rashmi Sharma was supposed to be present over here, but due to some unfortunate incidents here, he is not here. So first of all, I would like to wish you all upcoming very happy Dasai, Deepavali and Chait. So a very happy Dasai to all of you. And this really was basically aimed to bring together all the stakeholders of this skull-based surgery, that is the neurosurgeons, the otolaryngologists, the ophthalmologists, the facial surgeons, and the neuroanatomists. So this CME might prove to be a perfect start of the complex head and neck region pathology treatment in a multidisciplinary way. So I'm sure that without your participation and support, all the efforts that we have put together to organize this CME would have been vain. So thanks to all of you for coming here. Now the chairpersons were Professor Syrian, but he is busy in one surgery, so probably he will join us late. And we have Dr. Juha was supposed to be here. Dr. Juha, he is a world renowned this aneurysm surgery. He has done more than 14,000 neurosurgical cases, and he is worldwide known for his surgery about the aneurysm and the heavy vascular malformation. And he is currently with us in the Nobel Medical College in the neuro department. Probably today he was operating the case, which took a lot. They all are there busy in that. And we have Professor R.K. Bedazin, who is here, who is the HOD of our department. So he is a person who has a huge number of years of academic experience, and he has a number of research articles to his name. And our today's guest speaker is Dr. Vinod Felix. Dr. Vinod Felix is a young ENT surgeon who hails from Trivandrum in Kerala. So Dr. Vinod, thank Kerala बताऊंगा आपको. Trivandrum, Kerala. He is currently associated with the Soup Hospital as senior consultant in ENT and endoscopic skull base surgery. He is associated with Sri Chitra Institute of Neurosciences as an honorary consultant in ENT and endoscopic skull base surgery. And he is also honorary consultant at Regional Cancer Center, Trivandrum. And he has been performing all routine ENT surgery, basic and advanced endoscopic sinus surgery, basic and advanced endoscopic skull base surgery, and endoscopic and microscopic ear surgery. So he is a man with a huge range of experience doing all variety of surgery. He did his MBS and MD from Madurai Medical College and Madras Medical College respectively. And he is a disciple of Professor Paolo Capriglianza, who is a world-renowned endoscopic skull base surgeon. And he has been organizing secretary for otology and endoscopic thyroidectomy workshop in June at Kollam, Kerala. And he has been an invited guest faculty to France. He has been an invited guest faculty in Dubai, and he has been an invited guest faculty in Singapore. So he is very much well-renowned worldwide. And he had also been a faculty at Megaface and EBOS, and he had an opportunity to be speaker at a number of such sort of conferences. So he has been sharing his experiences worldwide, and he has presented papers in several national conferences and journals. So I would like to request Dr. Vinod Felix sir to start with the presentation, and the queries of our friends can be alongside. We can go on answering them. So sir, please.
Can you see the slides?
So good evening, dignitaries, senior colleagues, and friends. I think without much ado, I put a presentation.
So, म हाम्रा मिडियाका साथीहरूलाई हाम्रो अर्को मिटिङ हामी यता अर्गनाइज गरेका छौँ छुट्टै हामी चाहिँ बसेर एकछिन कुराकानी गर्दै गरौँला र सरहरूलाई आफ्नो त्यस प्रेजेन्टेसनसँग अगाडि बढ्नलाई रिक्वेस्ट गर्छु
Too big. It's too big. I think also Polo Capabilica. And of course, there are a lot of others like Dr. Graf, Cavallo, Dr. Paul Gardner, Carl Snederman, and of course, my teachers at Madras Medical College, who taught me the basics in ENT. And as Dr. Sanjeev rightly pointed out, endoscopic skull base is the theme of it. We have neurosurgeons, ophthalmologists, and many other specialists coming together to do surgery. So without the help of these surgeons, I would not be here presenting before it. One of the biggest discoveries in the last century is endoscopy. It has virtually revolutionized every field of medicine, and it is one among them. In about 1980s, we started doing endoscopic studies of nose and sinuses, and people like Professor Heinz Sternberger, were the pioneers in this. With growing expertise, we started venturing the adjacent regions. So, what are the adjacent regions of nose and sinuses? We have nose and sinuses and adjacent regions of orbit and skull base. So, with gaining experience in endoscopic sinus surgery, we started venturing into the orbit and skull base. So, the first talk is on endoscopic surgery of orbit. If you have any questions, the ophthalmology will have a lot of questions. You can really ask me and make more interactive. So, as the ophthalmology people are knowing very well, the orbit is surrounded on three sides by the paranasal sinuses. So, you have the frontal sinus above the orbit, the ethmoid sinus here, and below you have the maxillary sinus. Behind the orbit, you have the sphenoid sinus, right? A detailed description of anatomy is beyond the scope of this talk, but anyway, we have the lacrimal fossa here, formed by the frontal fossa of maxilla and the lacrimal bone. You have the lacrimal sac lying there, and goes down the nasolacrimal tract. It opens into the inferior layer, right? And behind that you have the, what is this? Lamina papyracea, which separates ethmoid sinus from the orbit, right? And can you see this actually? I don't know if you're seeing this. This is actually optic canal, and you have the superior and inferior features. We're going to see the surgeries in all these regions now. So let's start with the surgery on nasolacrimal side. This is in a nutshell the anatomy of the lacrimal apparatus. You have the upper and lower punctum, bring the tears into the upper and lower canaliculus, and you have the common canaliculus here. And this is a sac, this is a duct. You can see the sac here, this is a sac here, this is a duct, this is the inferior turbinate, this is the middle turbinate. The space below the inferior turbinate is known as inferior meatus. In the lateral nasal wall, you have three outcoachings: inferior, middle, and superior turbinate. And below this turbinate, there is the corresponding meatus, right? So when you have a block in the duct, there is stasis of secretion in the sac, and that causes chronic dactyl cystitis. The conventional surgery is not a TOTIS operation. Are there any ophthalmology PGs here? No. Yeah. It's not TOTIS surgery, right? TOTIS operation, right? The external this here. Make an incision here, and we drill the bone that forms the lateral fossa. Lateral fossa is here. You drill that bone and connect this to the middle axis, right? So we are going to do the same thing, endonasal endoscopy, right? And the advantages of doing this way is that, of course, there is no external scar, and the results are equal or at times better with inexperienced hands. And this can be done in the state of lacrimal abscess also. You cannot do an external descending lacrimal abscess. And of course, it preserves the lacrimal pump, and you can tackle sinonasal pathologies in the same setting.
Yes.
But I think I'm not comfortable that way. You're not hearing me? Actually, we are online now. We are across the globe. We are being watched. That's a problem. Can they hear us now?
If you use the mic, then they can
Okay,
hear.
no problem. Yeah. So we are going to see an endoscopic DCR on the left side. This is the left nasal cavity. That's the left middle turbinate. That's the area between the middle turbinate and the inferior turbinate here. This is the nasal septum. We are raising the flap, mucosal flap, that overlays the lacrimal fossa. It's a very old video, about 6-7 years old. And the mucosal flap is removed so that I am exposing the bone which overlies the lacrimal sacs. That is known as lacrimal fossa, right? We are exposing lacrimal fossa. This is the frontal process, and the lacrimal bone is removed. And you are now seeing the lacrimal sac there. It's a very simple surgery. Hardly takes about maybe less than 30 minutes. And now we are marsupializing sac. We are opening wide to the middle mattress. You can see the tears coming out. It exposes sac from the common canaliculus to the duct below. That's a common canaliculus above there, and that's a duct down. That's the common canaliculus. That's it. And this is to show you the 6 months post-op appearance. On the right side, this is the right side, you can see that's the common canaliculus with the two openings, upper and lower canaliculus opening. You can see that two openings there. Just to show that we have full control on the nasal duct, endoscopy, we are going to show the anatomy of the duct also. This actually is a case of right side of maxillary fungal bone. So we are going to do something called a pre-lacrimal approach. We are going to work anterior to the nasolacrimal duct. That's the right middle turbinate, that's the inferior turbinate. I made an incision there, and that is a duct. There's sac above, that's a duct. So we have complete control over the duct and sac endonasally. Once you make a window there, just anterior duct, you can remove the lesions in the anterior aspect of macular glands. Can you see the ball probe going around the duct? That's the duct. endonasally, we are able to remove the lesions in all these areas, except the superolateral and the lateral inferior. So this 270-degree in the orbit can be removed from the nose. So let's now see another case. This is actually a 10-year-old child. He came with proptosis, lacrimation, etc. That's actually a case of ethmoid sinusitis with subperiosteal orbit. We are going to drain the orbital abscess endonasally using an endoscope. That's the right side. That's the opening into the maxillary sinus. We have removed the ethmoid sinus here. And now I am actually fracturing the paper thin bone called lamina papyracea, which separates ethmoid sinus and orbit. That is the paper thin bone. We call it lamina papyracea for interns because it's still like a paper, right? That's the lamina papyracea completely removed, and we are incising the orbital periosteum. And now on giving pressure on the orbit, you can see the pus coming out. That's the pus. Can you see that? Let's start getting to some more complex cases. This is a 35-year-old female. She came with complaints of epistaxis and complete loss of vision on the left side. Right? And on doing a CT scan, we found that's a mass lesion there. You can see it going intracranially. The bone is eroded, the skull base bone is eroded. It's going into the orbit. But still, the orbital, by doing MRI, we know that orbital periosteum and dura is intact. And this is a very vascular lesion. It's getting feeders from the ophthalmic artery. So we cannot really embolize this tumor. The biopsy came as glomus tumor of the nasal cavity. So a very rare tumor. And yeah, here something interesting here. ENT. What is this? Vivek is studying something. What is this, Vivek? That's a carotid artery. Can you see that? You don't have a bone in the sphenoid sinus which separates the lesion from carotid artery. The bone is eroded. And this is the anterior clinoid. Between the two roots of anterior clinoid, you have the optic canal. The optic canal is formed by the two roots of the anterior clinoid. So here, the optic nerve will be exposed and internal carotid artery will be exposed. So it's a tricky tumor. So just to orient you, we are actually working to the left nasal cavity. We have removed the wall of the maxillary sinus also. Sorry for that. We have gone underneath the skin, removed that wall of maxillary sinus. So we are working through the nasal cavity and the maxillary sinus. So that we can remove the lesion in the orbit and they have good exposure, right? So we are using this both spaces. So we are using the instrument called micro debrider to remove the lesion. We have debrided the lesion already, and that's the skull base bone ethmoid root. Skull base bone is eroded. We have removed the bone. It's lying free in the nasal cavity. That's a dura. That's a dura. Of course, the field is bloody because it's a vascular tumor. We can't help it. That's the orbital periosteum. So we need to get all this anatomy before we go into the optic nerve. That's the dura and that's our orbital periosteum. And now we are going to go back into the sphenoid sinus and see the tumor around the optic nerve. So that's the sphenoid sinus, and you can see something there. That's the optic nerve. Can you see that? That's a tumor attached to the optic nerve. This is a tumor, that's the optic nerve. That's a nerve, you can clearly see that. Right? That's the optic nerve. And you have the carotid artery somewhere there. Now we are using a defibrillator to remove the lesion on the optic nerve. And after surgery, the patient regained vision, but unfortunately, he didn't come for any follow-up. Because the patient also had a huge leg mass, which got operated after the surgery, and that could put us polyclot carcinoma of thyroid. I have some doubt that the pathology report may be wrong, and this can be a mix from the polyclot carcinoma. And now let's go to the endoscopic optic nerve decompression. At times you have patients who come after trauma with complete blindness, and on taking a CT scan you find a bony fragment impinging the optic nerve. These are ideal cases for doing endoscopic optic nerve decompression. You can of course go to the external neurosurgical approach and do this, but it's less invasive procedure to do it intravenously. So new evidence suggests that initial visual acuity of no light perception is the most significant determinant of outcome in traumatic optic neuropathy. And these patients have better results if we operate it within 7 days. If it is beyond 10 to 14 days, the results are very poor. So you must give the patient within 7 days. We are going to, the optic nerve has 4 parts. One is the part, the parts of optic nerve.
First of all, the intra-orbital part,
Yeah.
then the canalicular part, then intracranial.
Yeah. So we are just going to decompress the intracanalicular part, right? We are going to remove the bony canal, and thereby the nerve has more space inside the bony canal. Right? The indications are visual acuity. If the visual acuity does not improve to 20/400 or better, despite 24 to 48 hours of steroid therapy, or if the visual acuity is 20/400 or better, but deteriorates after stopping steroids. So the other alternative is high dose steroids. But can look at the Cochrane review in 2015. It says that there isn't much evidence for giving high dose steroids. And it recommends not to treat traumatic optic neuropathy with steroids. So just before I go further, I'll just give a glimpse of anatomy in the sphenoid sinus. Vivek, Vijay, any doubts? No, sir. Fine? Is everything fine? Yeah. So this is the sphenoid sinus, right? The sphenoid sinus. This is the intersphenoid septum. This is the cellular floor. The cellular bone is bulging into the sphenoid. You can go this way and operate the pituitary tumor. The cellular floor. This part is known as the clival recess. And these are our two friends, the optic nerve and the carotid artery merging in the sinus. There's the optic nerve on both the right optic nerve, left optic nerve, left carotid, right carotid. So this is one case who came with traumatic optic neuropathy, and on doing a CT scan, we found there's a bony fragment overlay which is impinging on optic nerve. So we opened the left sphenoid sinus, and this is what you saw in the previous slide. We're going to see this area, right? And this recess is known as lateral of the carotid recess. See, so this is the optic nerve, this is the carotid artery, and there was some hematoma here, and that's a fractured bone. Now we are decompressing the optic nerve from the orbital apex here. Orbital apex is the boundary of posterior remote and sphenoid sinus. We will remove the bone from here to here. So we are doing that. And that's the hematoma being removed from this pocket between the optic nerve and the carotid artery. And that's a complete decompressed optic nerve from the orbital apex to the level it goes interacting. Right? And skip this actually. And of course, at times when you have a tumor like this, even this can be removed endoscopically. But we need the help of an oculoplastic surgeon. If an oculoplastic surgeon helps us by retracting the muscles, the medial rectus and inferior rectus, they retract that. The window, you saw me remove the lamina propria, right? You saw me remove the lamina propria. Once you remove the lamina propria and orbital periosteum, you will find the two muscles. Once somebody retracts us here, the window opens up. You can remove the tumor, pull it out. So let's have some very important questions. Short break, maybe. So I think one of our some enthusiastic ENT surgeon did an endoscopic sinus surgery, and just after the surgery, patient had this condition, and the ophthalmologist was called for. So, what will you tell the ENT surgeon? Yeah. Sorry to ask you, because you're only ophthalmology. Say your name?
From someone.
Yes, good.
There is chemosis and supplemental hemorrhages there.
Yeah. It's actually the retrobulbar.
And the purposes is also observed in this.
So diagnosis is retrobulbar. That's a treatment. During endoscopic sinus surgery, sometimes you can enter the ignored artery. The artery can retract into the orbit. And the bleeding can cause retrobulbar. So you need to relieve the pressure immediately. You don't have to do it within 90 days. Yeah, it will be in line, right? I'm telling this because in my early days, maybe when I just finished my post-graduation, I had one similar complication. At that time, my senior colleague was not doing endoscopic sinus surgery. So I called the ophthalmologist and he told, I'm sorry to do that, but he told, maybe you can read. Something you don't know, because I learned this, I know this hematoma. But he was adamant that you shouldn't go to an operation. But fortunately, I did that and I could save the vision. So the treatment here can do a lateral canthotomy, cantholysis, and can also do an endoscopic orbital decompression. This is an emergency. So this is an interesting case. It's actually a published article. We're going to see an endoscopic reconstruction of medial load fracture. Maybe interesting for maxillofacial colleagues. Intense, what is a load fracture? Fracture of Vijay, what is load fracture?
It's the floor of the orbit.
Yeah. So this actually is the medial load fracture. It's a fracture of the lamina fascia.
Dr. Vinod Felix from SVT Hospital, Trivandrum. This is a case of endoscopic reconstruction of medial lower fracture. This patient had inoculous ectopia and neorectus entrapment after an RTA. These are scans.
Okay, no problem. This is a scan, and you can see the
Going through
the medial rectus is enwrapped in the fracture. Okay,
medial lower fracture.
that's the right side.
And resecting the concave dorsal.
That's the right pneumatized middle terminate, and removing it to get access.
Mic on. Mic on.
And that's middle gate endoscopy.
That's the maxillary sinus being opened.
You आपको.
And polarized being opened.
चलेगा
Sorry, sir.
चलेगा
And opening the fuller.
We are removing the ethmoid sinus.
Herniated medial rectus muscle and back.
Now we have removed the ethmoid sinus.
And fascia, right side.
And now you'll be seeing the fracture and that's a bulging
That's the
fat and the medial rectus.
muscle. This back.
This one. This is the medial rectus muscle bulging into the ethmoid sinus.
That's the fracture.
That's a fracture.
Fascia.
You can see the fracture there, not the fracture.
This patient also has slight inoculus.
Complaint of the patient is inoculus. Because the orbit fat is bulging into the ethmoid sinus.
Now the effect is
Now we are widening the fracture so that the enwrapped muscle goes back.
The muscle entrapment is released. That's actually the medial rectus muscle. This patient also had an inferior lobe fracture, and that was harvested from the thigh.
And now I'm placing some fat
That is should cover
inside the orbit so that if I just place a graft above the muscle, there will be adherence of the muscle and the graft. So we need a fat as a buffer. We just place a bone above the muscle, there will be adherence of bone, the muscle and the bone. So we need a buffer like a fat.
as a muscle being covered with fat.
So we are replacing like by like.
Fat and
Normally in the normal anatomy you have the muscle, above the fat, then you have the periosteum, then the bone.
adherence of the muscle to the bone
This is the fascia. Fascia is instead of the orbital periosteum.
placed over the fat.
And then you place some.
Fat and the muscles will reduce,
So I place the fascia.
applying pressure. And now,
That's the fascia. That's the
placing
bone.
the bone harvested from the resected concave dorsal
We resected the middle terminate. There was some bone in there. I'm using that bone.
to support the fascia.
Underneath the fracture, it just we are attacking the bone. Right? That's it. And we place some.
Reduce
That's a Polish catheter.
back.
Is placed inside the nasal cavity.
The voice catheters say very poster picture.
That's a poster picture. The inoculus
recovered right
has recovered. And so that's for the end of the orbital part. The next is a skull base. So maybe I can take some questions.
that all done under general anesthesia?
Mostly under general anesthesia, but we can do this under local anesthesia also. But generally, the recommendation nowadays is to do the airways and surgeries under general anesthesia.
Then it is given in terms of extensive visits, it's not
I didn't get you, sir.
the thing is given to this. Is it?
Age? No. Age. I have done cases at 94 years.
And it's a small.
Yeah, I have done a skull base surgery at maybe 2 years. But I have done a coronal anesthesia, congenital coronal anesthesia endoscopy at 3 days of time. 3 days. Sorry, 3 days.
So in anophthalmos,
Yeah.
like if it is a very old case, still it is salvageable. In anophthalmos, it is like salvageable even if the operation
So many years.
because there will be some fibrosis also.
Maybe fibrosis will be difficult, but I know that this was actually 1 month old. So, yeah. These cases are referred by our ophthalmology colleagues. And so we never see them primarily. We go to ophthalmologists and then there is actually a big hospital, Boston Eye Hospital in like this. So they are referred to. Any more questions?
So that bone fracture,
Yeah.
after you repaired, you use the conga as a bone replacement.
Sorry, critical question maybe. You're going to ask, did you play something about that? Did you play something about that?
No, another about that, if the patient didn't have a conga, where else can we get the bone
Oh.
fracture? Other than
I just
do we
remember.
always need to put a bone or can we just leave it with the fascia?
We can call it from third party. They would tell that, but if it's asking, can we leave without that? We can attempt the silastic also, but I think we can leave without the support. Because then again, good facial cover. But if you have solid support, you can prevent it from permeating into the.
The infusion, but you don't have a proper treatment.
You can treat. No, you just take the part of middle level. It's still the you can have a middle level. We get a good
Other
one.
way we can overlap the middle target. We can turn it around with the rotation of that.
Taking the bone from the orbit, I can take it.
The middle target that we can overturn it. Make it a rotation of that.
No, I don't think because you're actually shifting the middle target to the orbit.
One percent.
You can easily block the complications. We can do that if we have a safe and take a middle target. But taking a middle target, rotating it to the orbit is tricky. You can take it superiorly, supraangularly, but not down. But it's a good idea, but I don't think it's workable.
So in cases of bilateral pneumonia, what needs to be used? But side, no, you're shooting side. So
I use the other
I don't think a weak body do critical.
idea.
The opening is the size of the endoscope, size of the endoscope. Open second.
Until it's four.
The nasal cavity is just 5 that side. The video one side. So if it's endoscope on one side, remove the social section and use something else on the gas later. You say using the neurosurgery. It says pencil thin raised to the. You cannot really do that. It's very small. Video one side. Video after that, okay, you should do it. So let's go to skull base. Are they coming on? Sure. Okay, side by side have the put make it an informal video. So The skull is the bony covering here, and the base of the skull is called skull base. And of course, no part in the human body is immune to pathology, so it's the skull base. But surgeries in the skull base are very challenging because you have all the cranial nerves arranged like this. Cranial nerves, in the skull base. So you're going to work along the cranial nerves, and you have the cavernous sinus, internal carotid artery. It's a tricky area to operate. And there are certain principles which we follow when you select an approach to the skull base. The different approaches are anteromedial, anterolateral, lateral, posterolateral. And the principles which we must follow when doing a skull base surgery is, when you select the approaches, you must try to avoid crossing the cranial nerves and media. So if you have a tumor here in the skull base and the nerves and vessels are aligned on either side, it's always better to come this way, come like this. If you are coming like this, you are going to cross the cranial nerves. Got the point? So if you have a skull base lesion here, the best approach is an anteromedial collision. And one of the least in do that is the endodistal approach. And of course, we have the approaches divided in the sagittal and coronal plane. The sagittal plane is the surgery between the plane of two internal carotid arteries. Coronal plane is lateral to the carotid artery. Right? We can divide the sagittal planus from transfrontal, transcripiform, transplanum, transcellular, transclival, and transvolantoid. And coronal plane is lateral to the plane of, these are the carotid arteries. We operate in the Meckel's cave and the what you call petrous apex, lateral to the plane of carotid artery. That is known as coronal plane. They are very challenging surgeries. Of course, as a neuroscience, we have been using the microscope for a long time, maybe more than 100 years. But look at the difference of microscope and endoscope. When you use the microscope, the light comes like this. It's actually converged. For endoscope, you have the divergence. And look at the difference. This is a sphenoid sinus. This is a cellular floor viewed in the microscope. This is the same cellular floor with an endoscope. You are not seeing the carotid artery or optic nerve with the microscope. When you don't see a structure, you are always at risk of injuring those. At times, if you have an injury, you cannot really control that. If you cannot see it, you cannot control it. You can barely skip over this. I gave a glimpse of this anatomy. This is the sphenoid sinus. That's the cellular floor. We are going to remove this bone here and remove the pituitary tumor. We can remove this planum and remove the pituitary tumor going supracellular. We can drill this bone over the carotid artery to remove the tumor going to the cavernous sinus. We're going to see all those. Since there are no neuroscience, I just go very quickly. Is that okay? But I think we are being watched across the globe by many neuroscience. Then we got 100 neuroscience are watching us across the globe. So this is actually a pituitary tumor. It's cellular and supracellular extension. And I removed the anterior wall of the sphenoid sinus. The complete anterior wall is removed. That is a cellular floor. That's a cellular floor. It's the left optic nerve and the right optic nerve here. The right, left. There is some tilt in that image because my junior colleague is holding this code. And we remove this bone, so as a cellular. That is, the bone is being removed now. As the bone is being removed. This is a right internal carotid artery. You have the left carotid here. We are removing the bone over the carotid also. That region is known as medial of the carotid. So the paracrine carotids are also exposed. We need exposure from one blue to the other blue. We call it one ocean to the other ocean. So from the superior intercavernous sinus to the inferior intercavernous sinus, and laterally from one cavernous to the other cavernous sinus. Once the exposure is good, the tumor actually folds into the sinus. It almost delivers itself. So these are the optic nerve, left and right. That's a planum. And we are now removing the tuberculum. That's actually the superior intercavernous sinus. Or you can call it anterior intercavernous sinus also. And can you see a white band above that? Above the superior intercavernous sinus, you see another white band. That's the interfalciform crust. That marks the level of optic chiasm. The optic chiasm that way. And that's a dura being opened. And that's a tumor being removed. Where is that bone? There is a tumor, that's a suprasellar part being removed. And when you do that, you can see the diaphragma cell terminating down. And now we are reconstructing that defect with a vascularized mucosal flap from the nasal center. It is called a Haddad flap. I think I will skip this IC bleed. It was a case of internal carotid bleed. At times you can get a bleeding from carotid also, but we can manage it. It's not a big deal. The bleed is small, we can manage. Because if the bleed is big, we need the stenting and all the other things. But at times you can get a small tear in the attachment of the inferior hypophyseal artery to the carotid artery. Can you see that? It's a bleed. It's actually the left cavernous sinus. The bleeding is from the carotid artery. The small tear there. You place a suction so that you get the view. Once you remove the suction, you get a complete runout. The blood will fill the entire area. Don't remove the suction. Have two suctions there. Find the bleeding point. If the tear is small, you can seal it with the bipolar pottery. If it's a big tear, take muscle from thigh out to the abdomen. That's it. And this section is a case of pituitary adenoid Cushing syndrome. So the tumor going into the cavernous. These two black dots are the carotid arteries going into the cavernous sinuses. So the similar manner we remove the bone. We expose the carotid arteries. That is the left cavernous sinus. You see the carotid artery in the cavernous sinus. We are dissecting the tissue from the carotid artery to enter into the cavernous sinus. That's the carotid artery. That's the cavernous sinus. And using suctions, we are removing the tumor in the cavernous sinus. That's a view into the cavernous sinus. You can see a glimpse of the sixth nerve there. Clear over there. That's the sixth nerve. And I think this will be interesting. This is actually a case of craniopharyngioma. You're going to see the third ventricle. Have you seen the third ventricle in the ignorance? Have you seen the third ventricle? Vijay, have you seen the third ventricle? Have you seen the third ventricle? Yeah. No. I'll show you the third ventricle. This is the cranioperineum going into the third ventricle. The exposure is actually almost similar, but you remove the bone in the planum and the cella. That is a transcellular transplanum exposure. There's a tumor being dissected. What is this? There is a anterior cerebral artery, okay? We are separating tumor from anterior cerebral artery there. That was anterior cerebral arteries. And now we are going to enter the third ventricle. Oh, no. That is the anterior cerebral arteries. A1, A2, ACOM. A1 is before anterior cerebral, before the ACOM is A1. Beyond the ACOM is A2. This is the recurrent artery tubular. Yeah, that's the third. Can I show that's the third one? So that there are the foramen of Monroe, aqueduct, choroid plexus. It's a V into the third one. Okay. And here being a multi-layered reconstruction of the fat, fascia, and finally a good Haddad flap. That's a nasal septal flap from the nasal septum. It's a pedicle vascularized flap. And the flap should actually have good contact force. So it's going into the clival recess down and then coming up. Good.
Okay, that is it. Now I will keep on this.
We can remove tumors like this also. Just to perform like we can remove that endoscopically. This is a meningioma, a huge meningioma. The cruciform plate and the cella. So removing the tumor, and you can see the carotid bifurcation. Anywhere the significant carotid bifurcation. This is the post-op scan showing the bone removal. Let's keep all this. This is the clival. We can remove the tumor in the clivus by drilling this bone in the clival recess. And just have a glimpse of coronal plane dissection. I just tell you, there are no neurosis, right? It's fine now. So now we are going to dissect lateral to the carotid artery. This is the two carotid arteries in the skull base. Dissection here, lateral to the carotid is known as coronal plane dissection. So doing that, just some glimpse of anatomy. This is the maxillary bone. Just behind that, you have the palatine bone. This is the orbital process. So, this is the orbital process, the spinal process. Between these, you have the spinopyramidal foramen. And just behind this palatine bone, when you remove that palatine bone, you have the pterygoid plate. And instead of Dr. Meenakshi was asking, the sphenoid bone is like a butterfly. What are the legs of a butterfly, right? These pterygoid plates are the legs of the butterfly. And you have the virial canal here and the foramen rotundum here. Once you remove this bone, you are going to Once you remove this pterygoid base, you're going to expose this carotid artery. You can work in this Meckel's cave region. You can work in the Peter's apex. All this can be done when you remove this bone, right? And that is known as transpterygoid approach. This was actually a case of fungal granuloma going into the orbit, into the inferior fissure in the foramen rotundum. I just have a glimpse of this video. So the left nasopharynx, pinoid sinus, that is the pterygoid base. This showed just as a pterygoid base. That's the Vidian canal. Near the foramen rotundum. That is a foramen rotundum. This is a foramen rotundum. That's the maxillary is going to the foramen rotundum. Okay. And hence we can, there's a series of leak in the lateral recess, we can drill the pterygoid base and close that. That's a maxillary nerve. That's actually the Vidian, it's a Vidian nerve from the Vidian canal. That's a pterygopallic ganglion. It's a pterygopallic ganglion. And so remove this bone, you get into the lateral recess. Leak behind that. The leak is coming from behind this region. You can see that there. We can close it. These are all series of leaks in the lateral recess. And as I told you, this is the carotid artery. This is a parapharyngeal portion. This comes from the cochlea. This is the horizontal petrous carotid. This is a vertical petrous carotid. Once you remove the pterygoid base here, you can extract a carotid artery and you can remove the tumor in the Meckel's cave. You can remove the tumor in the petrous apex, etc. Exposure, if you remove the tumor above the carotid, there is a supra-petrous approach. And if you are going to remove the tumor below the horizontal petrous, there is known as intrapetrous approach. I'll just show you the intrapetrous approach. This is the last video. You have behind the tumor here. This is the carotid artery. It's an axial scan. You have seen the tumor in the petrous apex. We're going to come through the nasal cavity and mobilize the carotid artery and remove the tumor behind the carotid artery, the petrous apex. This is the right side. The tumor is on the right side. We have removed the posterior of maxillary sinus. This is the pterygopalpine fossa. We are mobilizing the pterygopalpine fossa laterally. We are pushing it laterally, so we are going to see the pterygoid base now. This is the Vinod sinus. That is a Vidian canal. That's a Vidian canal. That's the foramen rotundum. Once you drill around the Vidian canal, you will reach on the foramen lacerum. That's an important Vidian canal is an important landmark during exposure of foramen lacerum. because median nerve is a branch of GSP which comes around along the parameters. And we have drilled along the median canal. That's a carotid artery. You have seen the carotid artery there. That's a vertical fetus. That's a lacera. That's a horizontal fetus. We have drilled the bone on either side of carotid artery so that they can mobilize the carotid artery. And we are drilling the bone, the petroclival junction. Once I do that, I can get into the space behind the carotid. It is called the petrocarotid space of the fetus. There is that space. I am lateralizing the carotid artery. That is there actually. Skip it. We just work here as a microscope. This actually is the region of microscope. And now the tumor is being removed in the fetus. That's the fetus apex. We are working in the region of internal artery meatus. So these are things which we can do through the nose. Thank you. Any questions for? You are all hungry.